So technically, P6 work, like what teacher Chloe had just shared, is like, it's a very short year, like probably only 6 months, because the 8th month is already the prelim. So that within the 6 months, we have to like teach everything already. Then the July, August is like revision into the prelims and to the PSLE already. So technically, right, quite a huge percentage, can I say safely 60 to 70% of the work is actually learned in primary 5. So if your base, your grounding is set right in primary 5, P6 is refining, top up with the remaining P6 topics, and we are ready to soar and take off from there. Yeah. So if now at this moment, this month, I have to like revise all the primary 4, primary 5 work because the foundation is like weak or not strong, it's actually very trying, not for the teacher, for the student, because the student is torn between, I only have 1 hour, which one am I supposed to revise, P4, P5 or P6 work? Yes, okay, I think we are ready to start.
Yeah, teacher Faith, some of the parents actually asked before we start, they say, will this be recorded and shown in YouTube or Facebook?
Yes, we will eventually share this webinar tomorrow after my IT team, like, tidy up the recording. We will post it on YouTube. Okay. All right.
Here we go. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope my sound is clearer right now. Thanks, Lily. If you're my student, do please say hi to me, because I get you all to see me for the webinar. It will help you. All right, so I'm going to start off with science first, and then after that, teacher Faith will just guide you a little bit on math as well. Yeah. Here we go. Now, thank you so much once again for tuning into today's webinar. So it's about soaring grades. All right, parents, thank you so much for tuning. I will always think you guys are superhero. Please decide, you're seated beside parents. Okay, give your parents a big hug. Okay, and say, Papa, Mama, I love you very much. Because the reason why they're seated down here is because they want to know how to help you. Yeah, they love you a lot, and with that, I hope Nutri is able to give you a little glimpse of it on how you can actually help. All right, so this is myself, okay, over 16 years of primary science experience, so I oversee majority of the P6 classes, on my own, also heading the primary science, and I like to make lessons live, so no boring lessons. So the webinar started at 7:30, so I just entered my class at 7:25. So we're downstairs, just below the clubhouses, we're playing the ice cream stick, making some domino effect. So these are just some of the pictures, a little bit lighthearted to share with you. So parents, we are halfway through term 1. And what does it take to succeed in a new school year? Is it possible to soar high for a primary science? Is it even possible? Some of us thinking, term 1 is still a long way, right? Or some of us say, no, it's not a long way. I have to prepare. So this webinar is aim for it. So we can get you through how is it like. So before we even go into guiding you on how you can help your kids on some of the science questions, let me just show you the science topic. Now for the science topic, right, as you can see, the lower block has about 12 and the upper block has about 14. Topics, upper block is primary 5, primary 6, and the lower block, primary 3, primary 4. The primary 3 that parents that tuning today, thank you very much. Okay, it's always good to learn the techniques early. So let's start the topic by now. Kids, you all can have familiar. Every time when I start a lesson, I do ask my students, especially the P6 when they're doing revision paper, I always ask them, hey, this topic is from life cycle. Tell me whether it's a lower primary or upper primary. So sometimes they get very confused. Upper primary is and really which level you have learned? P5? Then they go, oh yeah, sure, it's P4. But look, it's been 3 years ago, I cannot remember. Yeah, so it's good to always start early, yeah? Okay, you can take a snapshot. Okay, I just wait for you guys. Okay, 3 seconds. All right, next slide. And the standard size format, this for the upper primary, but of course right now, the MOE has just rolled out lots of school doesn't meet here. So most of the time, upper primary, we have 28 MCQ questions. Section B is about 11 to 12 questions. So in the past, maybe like 3-4 years ago, back then when we were teaching, section A used to be 60 marks, but now it's 56 marks. And they lift up the marks on section B. If you are in the lower primary range, the marks percentage is set according to your school. So do check with the school form teacher as well, because sometimes your child will be receiving WA weightage assessment instead. Yeah. Okay, and how to plan? Look, there are so many topics. I'm really feeling very stressed, right? As a parent, we do feel the stress because it literally felt like when our child is studying for exam, we are like sitting through the examination with them, right? So it's always good to start early so that you can end strong. Okay. Now, I know sometimes it's very difficult to get a child to be motivated. Later on the next few slides, I can tell you some tips on how you can help them, especially with science. It's not just about doing, writing more stuff. It's also about knowing their learning style. So I wrote down here, there are 4 points. You need to discuss an achievable study menu. Talk to your child. Okay, ask them, hey, if your child is in primary 6, let's say there are 28 science topics, right? What is a doable study plan, and make them follow through. Now make them agree with it, because if they cannot agree, right, they will not be able to follow through. The next step, you can host a study revision with your child. Just last week, I went to River Safari, so I think dinner at the night safari. I was actually quite amazed by this dad. This dad had five kids. Okay. Then I was looking at this dad at my dinner table, and then just bring the kids to the zoo, not to go to the night safari, but to go to the restaurant and sit there with the kids, and the kids all do their homework, their exam paper, something like this. So nowadays, I think our kids are all belonging to the Gen Z generation. Gen Z, yeah? Gen Z. Okay, and I was reading a few books from the psychology from Dr. Freeman. They say Gen Z kids, right? They tend to be very stressful themselves, and they are very social tech. They are very tech savvy. So as parents, sometimes we find it very difficult. Especially, it's no longer sitting them down in a room and you really look at them and say, are you doing your work? But it's like bringing them out of their comfort zone. Sometimes you can think of like going out to a creative place so that they are able to sit still with your presence. You don't have to know a lot, but with your presence, you can actually help them a lot in their study, all right? And that would be an adequate amount of time. So, and you need to find their learning style. Living in Singapore can be very stressful. I was talking to my prof, and he said that Singaporean, we constantly wear the name tag. You know what the name tag we wear? It's not a name, it's called I am busy. Because we are so busy and we are so stressful. So in Singaporean adult, we are very stressful. What's more, our children? So we got to find our learning style. Even as adults, we have different learning style at work. So our kids must have different learning style. Maybe some of them are kinesthetic. They need to walk around the house. Okay? Teacher Faith will agree to this, because Teacher Faith see a lot of different students, right? Some like music, some like visual. Okay, some like to watch something that's relatable. So in Blue Tree, we tend to match the teacher will study the student profile and we'll try to meet their needs. And then in the lesson, we try to make it as fun as possible. So they will not walk out with no feeling, I'm not good at that subject. So parents can consider doing this, make lesson fun and reinforce creatively. So some creativity studying do not have to be done in table setting. It can be done in a learning journey. I remember when I was teaching, I was just bringing my students to a learning journey in the bus. So what do we do in the bus? We just literally sing out the whole concept of science in the school bus. So after singing, right, we ended up revising the concepts. So maybe you are driving to Johor, okay, for a daily station. Then the digestive system. So I think, yeah, you can even test them differently. Sometimes kids need that support from you, always a community from the school teacher, from us as enrichment teacher, tuition teacher, and together as a parent to be very appreciative of us. Yeah, and I come up with a 3C weekly study plan. This is just an example. Of course, you can DIY, you can change anything. Okay, what 3C? We have to be consistent. All right, why consistent? Because in this, right, we have to, when you are consistent, right, kids tend to realize that, they will not take advantage of, like, okay, today, every Wednesday, I'm studying this. And maybe the next Wednesday say, okay, never mind, today I'm a bit tired, So you have to be a bit negotiable. If they are tired, but the work still has to be consistent. Maybe instead of 1 hour is 30 minutes, and we got to learn to cultivate this study habit and maintain a pattern routine. And also community, teachers, parents, tuition coming together. So this is an example of weekly schedule. I think it's 3 week wide because you can read 4, you can read 1 week, 2 weeks. So for example, let's say for science, there are 28 topics, right? That means if let's say per week you revise 2 topics, you will finish all the 28 topics in 4 months. That means let's say you haven't started, okay, week 6, let's say you haven't started yet. Okay, because Chinese New Year, right? Then we load it. After that, no mood to study. Okay, you start now. Okay, because by February, March, April, May, by May and June, you could have finished all the topic and you could have revised. But you have to stick to the routine. Like for example, Monday, you are doing forces. 1 hour on concept, all forces, correct? Tuesday, you are doing forces again, but this time is application. For example, you are memorizing forces. Oh, you know that effects of force is a force can change the shape of object. A force can change the speed of object. You know all this, very good, but do you know how to apply it in the exam paper? So you can consider buying a past year paper or revise on your own application. Then tomorrow, you can do a verbal concept with your parents. So parents can attend, tell me the effects of force. Tell me what types of forces. Like if you're revising it. This can really help them because constant reinforcing will cultivate this habit to our children, and they will find that learning is not that difficult. Most important thing, don't scare them because I keep telling me that they tend to be very scared whenever they feel maybe a topic. So I always tell them it's about the confidence level, and slowly we handle them, they will be able to do it. Yeah. All right. And next one. Okay. So if you ask me, could you have some example of turning concepts to application? Because I mentioned about knowing concepts one thing, applying another thing. So I give you an example here. Okay, this is the topic of properties of material. Can anyone tell me if this topic is in which primary? Primary 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you can type in the Zoom tab. All right. Properties of material. 3, yeah, awesome. So that say P4. Okay, you are half correct because this is although not P4 topics, but this also not P4 exam. Okay, so example you learn here. Let me go straight here. Thank you so much for replying. For example, properties of material. So under properties of metal you learn. Teacher, I learn metal is durable, strong, hard, opaque, good conductivity, good electricity. So example, if you see this question coming out in your exam, this is a trampoline, and they will tell you that the trampoline, inside a trampoline, there's a coil spring. And they ask you, why coil spring in a trampoline is made of metal? And many students, they will just go straight, they will just write, metal is wrong, full stop. Then they will, metal is hard, full stop. Okay? No, you're supposed to apply with that. So when you apply the concept, you should say metal is strong, it's durable. Why? Because it can withstand. You need to take a look at what the object is about. Correct? The object is about trampoline. That means the person will point down, up and down, right? So which can withstand a great amount of weight exerted by the user without breaking the coil. So the user can jump and land on trampoline. So this is called applying it successfully. So in Blue 3, those of you that Blue 3 student, you are teacher Fabian student, teacher eating student, teacher Celine student, teacher Edna student, okay, teacher Ming student, okay, we will always teach you how to apply concept. You don't just walk in here, copy, and we say bye, you can take care of yourself. All right, we don't start them with notes, but we really make sure you understand it. And here we go. So are there any strategy for working out the concept in the application? Yes, there is. Let me share with you 4 strategies. This work involve multiple choice of open-ended. Parents thinking, oh, here comes the main course, right? Now I was just giving you all the entry course. Okay, main course is the open-ended question, right? You will always speak to the form teacher, the science teacher. So strategy 1, you always need to ask your child, what topic is this? Okay, children, when you're doing your work, when you look at the question, ask yourself what topic. Of course, if your teacher is doing that topic, it will be from that topic. But if you're revising for an exam, the question, what topic? The next step you need to do is highlight the key information. You must ask yourself, wonder why the question so hard? But actually, the hint and the evidence can be found in the question by itself. You just need to highlight. Sometimes when you highlight, right, it helps your brain to, be able to see clearly. Yeah, and strategy 3 is about the question term. Now, the difference between 2 and 3 is that 2 is what is given in the information in that question. 3 is what is that question asking. For example, the question says, how can liquid turn into solid? Then the key question term will be how, state, describe, okay, or 2 is 1 question. And strategy 4 is what we use in answering technique. In Blue 3, we use ABC technique, or whichever your school has advised you. Some school uses CER, CEC as technique. I think one of the girls walked in my class and said, teacher, I'm using DISC. So yeah, that's fine. If you are confused, use back what your school teacher teach you, as long as you know what is the technique to answer. Now I'm going to show you some examples, but before that, let me just show you in Blue 3, how do we teach our students? So we teach using ABC. Yeah? So A means you answer with a choice, B means you back it up with evidence, and C means you confirm the concept behind it. Now, previously, the trampoline question, I just show you some of the concept applying it. However, not every question require an ABC. Okay, you don't need to do this every question. All right, don't overdo it. Yeah. So let me show you some example here. Okay, so how is it applied? I'm going to show you from the multiple choice question first. So this is an example. Okay, first you identify the topic. Let's take a look at this question. Okay, it says a diagram and the change of state by water. So obviously, this topic is about water cycle. Then the following question, also water cycle, right? Okay, so I name out for you. This one is about matter, and the other one is also about matter. 3 states of matter, which is a very important topic. So immediately when you identify the topic, the next step you're going to ask your child will be highlighting the key information. What is important? For example, let's take a look at the left side of the picture. Let me get my pointer pen. You can see the pointer pen, right? Obviously, so let's read. The diagram shows 2 bigger X and Y. Bigger X contains small stone, and bigger Y contains water with the ml. So I don't need to highlight the word diagram. I don't need to highlight the word show. Your child will know what is important. That important is small stone, correct? And 30 ml, because this is the thing that will give you the hint to answer that question, right? Okay. Now, if that gives you the hint to answer the question, the next question, right? Okay, after that, what are the key questions? Are you asking you this? I think the next step for MCQ is write down the concept. And I think you're going to see I got my students write their air spaces. Why? Because stone have air spaces. So when you pour the water in, it will not be 30 plus 30 total 60, right? It will be less than that. So I even make them write down the concept. Okay, why? For example, my student name is why? Oh, because some of the water are occupied where? The air spaces. So as a parent, sometimes you can be creative. Go to bring stone, pour the water, make them measure. See how is it? And I have students doing multiple choice like this. Oh, okay, read the question. The diagram. Okay, 2. Next question, 3. Next question, 4. Then 2 scenario. Student A came back. Teacher, I finished my work. I mean, correct, all correct. I will give back the paper to this student. Okay, good. Why no concept? I'm very tired. I need to write. Cannot stay back to write. Why? Because as a teacher, I want to get it right, but I don't know what you're thinking. So I'll make them write down the concept behind. Scenario number 2, student B. Wrong. Then when they write concept, wow, this student will write concept. How come they get wrong? Then I will take a look at the concept. See how come this student will get it wrong? If the concept is right, but they still get the question wrong, is there a possibility that they will have misread the question or the annotation is not strong enough? Let's take a look at this. See, A, B, C, D, right? I need them write down C, D, to make sure that they have the right answer. Yeah, so that is how MCQ is like. So parents, don't run in an MCQ work. Okay, if you ask me, you can do it, but in exam, I do not have enough, right? 不够时间, not enough time. It's okay, because by the time you are having examination, you don't do this in the exam, but you do it in a way whereby in exam, if you really do not understand a question, you can highlight and write down your concept. But you imagine your exam is October, but from January until October, every time you do a question, you will annotate and write down concept at your own time, because it's practice time, right? Practice time, you can take your time to write down the concept. By the time you reach exam, you will be very good at it. So in the exam, you do not have to be OCD to write down concept, because teacher thinks we must write concept. By the time you have seen this question before, you will be familiar with this question. Your annotation will be transferred, and it will help you to answer it without making any careless mistake. Yeah, I hope it helps. All right, and let me show you this question on open-ended question. I have another question. Okay, those of you that are P4, you can take a look at this question. P5 as well, P6. P3 you can also try. So you pour water narrow neck. Okay, the water is really narrow. Pour flew by. I wanted to sip some water from the water. Okay, now it says that if the crow managed to drink some water. Now, how is it able to reach the water? Now, students that do not have science concept, they will just write, oh, the crow, okay, very creative answer. Reading, they will write, the crow picked the bottle fell, then they start to click from the floor. Some students will say, wait for rain to go. So the rain will fill up the jar, then the crow will sing. Okay, now I'm not saying kids are wrong. So it's our job as parents and teachers to explain to them, look, this topic is about what? States of matter, right? So you must explain, what have you learned from this? What keyword? Then you start remember, I think my teacher teaches me something like occupy space. My teacher teaches me something like take up space. All right. So they say how the crow is able to reach. This is a difficult question that you need to think of. Because our kids are not exposed to very experiential. I mean, back those days in kampong, right? My mom used to tell me, this one I see many times before. Okay, so but the kids nowadays are different. So it's a job to explain to them. So we first tell them, this topic is properties of matter. So we use ABC as the guideline or whichever your school teacher teaches. So it will be the crow managed to drink some water by putting the pebbles into the water. As you can see, there are some pebbles, right? Okay, so you put some pebbles. And what the key is this. You see the crow is already biting the stone. So the pebbles, right, the crow using its beak to bite already in to get your answer. Then back with evidence will then be referred to information given. So as the pebbles occupy space in the water, when pebbles start to occupy space in water, the water level will rise up, right? So the concept will be the water level rise up, and the crow right now is able to drink the water in the water. Yeah. So this guideline ABC will actually help your child not to have any careless mistake. Okay. Evidence means the evidence behind, the things behind. the information given. And the concept will be whatever you have learned from this topic and the concept by itself. Yeah. All right. So let's take a look at the next question. So far so good. Next question. Now, I go a little by level because we have a variety of audience here. Now, let me just show you this question. Okay, audience as supporters here. Okay, what do you think this topic is? Okay, the name of the topic. Anyone want to try? You can type in the chat. Okay, the name of the topic. This is about flower, right? Let me read to you as you type. The Garnet observed 3 different types of flowering plants. After several days of investigation, he found that only one type is pollinated by wind. Okay, and which flower is pollinated by bee? Okay, I do see some answer. Didn't say reproduction plant, did say pollination? Yes, got it right. Okay, so it is about pollination reproduction. Thank you so much for contributing. Yes, all you correct. So the very first step, you guys already know, you guys are expert. I'm just here to guide you. So the first topic, okay, we quickly write down the concept is of pollination. And the next thing we get our students to highlight. What to highlight? 3 different types of flowering plants. They need to know there are 3 different types, correct? You don't need to highlight garnet, it's not important. But you need to highlight only one is pollinated by bee. And the answer is, oh, what is pollinated by bee? So immediately, I will write down the concept check for my student at the worksheet. I'll say, hey, you guys, tell me what teacher Chloe has taught you. With pollinated flowers, tell me what characteristic does it have? You say, I think I remember feathery stigma. Okay, right now. Enter hanging outside like this. Okay, right now. Instead, tell me inside. They say, oh, it's enter filament inside. So they first need to know the basic of the content, right? So after they write down, I will ask them, okay, these are all the concepts. Look at the flower. Which one looks like a wing? Then they say, flower Z. Why? So that is when they start to know. Now, knowing is one thing. They can know flower Z. Then don't know how to continue how. Okay, that's where you need the concept. That means, based on the topic, if it's a life science topic, they have to remember the concept. Things like electricity, very little thing to memorize, then application. Okay, but this type of topic you must remember. That's why you might keep asking your child or student. You must always ask yourself. Okay, we find the flower. I have enter losing, write down, write notes, draw my map. This will help you. Okay, and that is evidence. Evidence is refer back to the information. Now, every one of you can see flower Z. Can you see? Flower Z has hanging anthers and filament outside. Okay. Now, of course, the breathing error not clear. But in the worksheet, right, we do see a little bit of hair coming out from the stigma. Then that is also an evidence. Then you cover with concept. So flower Z have a conclusion. It's pollinated by wind. Why? So that the anther is easily exposed to the wind, and then the stigma can receive the pollen grain to for ovulation and then for pollination to actually happen. All right. So that is the whole concept of knowing the ABC techniques, right? Okay, and I try to bring my student more, bring the lesson more live. I'll show them the real picture. Guys, this is the wind pollinated flower. Go to Google type. Then they say, and you see really got feathery stigma. The anther hanging out. I'll ask them, you notice the color is a bit down. That's one characteristic. Wind pollinated flower, the color is really down. It's not like, wow, roses, pink, roses are red. Okay. Yeah, so it's different. Okay. All right. Few more questions. All right, then yeah, done. All right, I have this question over here. Okay, I'm just going to show you this. Okay, by reading semi-compressed spring to launch a toy rocket. There was no wind. Okay. Name the form of energy. What topic is this? Okay, those of you blue tree students, you are now at this topic. P6. Okay. Any P6ers know what topic is this? This is the P6 topic. It's the first few topic your school teacher will be teaching. Yeah. Okay, so they say name the forms of energy. It's actually forms of energy. All right, and they say at the rocket. Okay. Now the next question is, we first identify the topic, which is forms of energy. The next part is we make them circle. Because the question asks about H, right? We make them circle H. So we do a concept check. So concept check, at position H, you realize that the rocket number 1 is above the ground level. Number 2 is also a moving kinetic energy because the rocket is moving, right? So your answer will just be answered in the chart. So not every question needs A, B, C. Some questions just require you to state the answer. So knowing the concept is important. Step by step, you always have a concept check behind it. Okay, means to say, right, as parent now you kind of get it. That means the concept and the foundation must be very strong. If your concept not strong, when you apply in the work, then it will be shaken. If your concept strong, but know everything, but every time application, the school teacher always mark, like sign and arrow missing word, that means the application not strong enough. So you must go back to teach them about the application and concept of how to. So they say Sammy decided to repeat this experiment concept. Explain how this would help him to obtain more accurate result, right? So this experiment first was done in a room. So I will tell my students, guys, this is the room. So right now, Sammy wants to repeat the experiment on sandpit. So students that do not know, they will end up writing this. Repeat the experiment to ensure accuracy, reliability, and so on, which is wrong to achieve reliable accurate result, which is wrong because they never read the question properly. It says sandpit, and the previous one was in the room. So this type of question, right, test your child on knowledge. It's no longer that simple. So sometimes parents, when you bring your kids to vacation, it's good to expose them. And to expose them, you ask them questions. Hey, you see this thing, or why do you think it's done like this? So unlike typical science question, this one is testing you on your logical reasoning. So anyone know why it's going to be done? Doing it on the sandpit helps you to have more accurate result. Okay, let me share with you. It's because, right, when you do it on the cardboard, the rocket tends to bounce off. So it's very difficult to obtain an accurate measurement. But when you do it on a sandpit, the toy rocket will not bounce off, right, the surface, so you can get an accurate result. So I have students up to here ask me, where is the keyword? This is your reasoning, okay, your understanding. Okay, this came out of this. Okay, don't worry, okay, don't stress. Okay, our Gen Z children are smarter than you think. Especially when you show them they get it, they can fly. Okay, we just have to be supportive and we just have to believe in them. Now, I will normally show my students a video. I show a video. Okay, you see why Olympic competition every time. Okay, long jump user, they always use the sandpit. Why? And there's ruler. So I told my students, the moment they jump, okay, there will be a marking. Then that is how far they jump. So this type of question, they turn it into an exam question, they make it a toy rocket question. So you do see how it changes. Okay, whatever in real life situation can be applied in the exam as well. All right. Okay, and lastly, just to let the student, if they are tuning in, to know common pitfalls. So right now, I'm going to share with you, you need to be careful. For example, this question is about water cycles, right? You realize that the common pitfall here is not applying to listing CR technique. They are incomplete concept. Look at my students, they actually ask how drinkable water is collected and there are muddy water here. So all of us know that you can evaporate the water and you can get pure water. But my students just wrote the warm water vapor, the cooler surface. Oh, very good. They know the keyword. Okay, now say condensing stop. Alright. What happened? The concept not completed. So I'll ask them what's the concept, and I'll ask them to write down the keyword. Alright, I'll ask them what is the evidence. Remember ABC, back with evidence. Evidence is, first of all, you have a muddy water. The muddy water will gain heat where? From the sun. Before you even say that is water droplet, you must tell me where, how come the water droplets? Remember, your teacher marking your paper, students listening to this webinar. Okay, your teacher is not going to, hello, Jane, what you need? No, they are going to just read what you write and mark what you need. It's like you need to write like storybook. Have you read a storybook? You call the author, I don't understand the ending. Don't have, right? Because the author will make sure it's done and completely. So by right, if you say the muddy water gives heat, because heat will evaporate to form water droplet. Second, third, heat will evaporate for water drop. Concept, one water vapor rises. Once it touches, look at all these words. Plastic cone, circular trout, spool, all these are words for you to plug and write down. You know, why do you think this question they put so much words there? It's for you to use. Okay, such as a cooler inner surface of what? Plastic cone. It's written there. Loses it condense to form water droplet and it flow down to be collected as drinking water. So take note of questions like this. So my advice will be familiarize the keyword for that particular topic. A few years ago, Gary teacher Joe, we have written a book on keywords booklet. You can actually purchase it from P3 to P6. That keyword booklet will help you to remember what are the keywords. Okay, once you jot down the sentence, you can repeat. Then you always reinforce with them. You can even consider doing same water cycle question, same topic, but different type and style of water cycle question, so that your child know how to turn. You know, if not, it will be just one type of water cycle question, then that's it. You can be so creative, go and find past year school paper, have all the water cycle questions, then do all the different water cycle questions, so that there's great exposure. Yeah. All right. Okay. So these are the steps. And true enough, and this student after training, right, is able to, this done by one of my students. So you see, we have all the keyword on water paper. Okay, teacher, if they are here, teacher, could you say good job, okay? I use your paper, okay? Come in contact with cooler outer, and then loser seed condenser. Very good at this. Okay, and in science, both of school teacher, we don't mark your grammar and spelling. Even you short the S is fine. So science is very easy to score. Okay. All right. So truly, slowly, but surely, reinforcement and have a help from your parents. And in school, even your school teacher will say they will just go through, never write the keyword. You make an effort to write the keyword. Bring highlighter, have good habits. Yeah. So I mentioned parents, you are really a superhero. They can never do it without you. Really without help. So in U3, right, our science approach is we'll always start off with a learning booklet. Okay, student walk in, we will let them have some ideas of what is it like, you know, what's the experiment, what's the concept. Then we'll go through the keyword. The keyword is normally found in weekly lesson, you know, and then we'll go into practice paper. But you know, it's not enough just to attend once a week lesson. Okay, students seated and behind this screen, you must also practice on your own. Okay, just like you are hopeful, right? You cannot just do this, and you cannot just do it without help of your parents, right? So you always need a mentor slowly guide you. So for us, our really doesn't. We go through the keyword testing, and during practice paper, right? We will even make sure that they have this proper keyword. Slowly, then we will also revise our concept. That is when we make sure that the concept is there. We'll be giving our summary notes, then practice question. So like I mentioned, ABC technique is very important. Always highlighting the key point. And science, right, we use this 3 approach, which is explore. Like just now when I show you the STEM question, right? So normally I'll start off with exploring with them, explain further, and I extend by showing them the picture and the keywords behind it. So these are examples of my student at play. Okay, so you can actually see some of them here. Let me just change my cursor so that you can actually see it. Yeah, so exploration, we let them have much hands-on experience in our house. in our Nutri Center before we even explain. Like this paper that you'll be wondering what's my student doing, I'm actually going through air resistance. A plane, an airplane without wings, scary or not? Scary, right? It will drop to the ground. An airplane with wings, it will fly more steadily using paper. Okay, and we further explain. So using our weekly lesson, topical practice paper, and of course we will extend further, by revising the concept of the exam practice together with them. So in short, I have finished explaining how the science part on how we can help our kids. All right. To bring your back, the most important thing is remember this 4 strategy. All right. Out of the 4 strategy, right? You really need to remember on highlighting the concept, okay, highlighting the keyword and making sure you know what topic is tested. By knowing what topic is tested, right, you will know exactly what are the keywords behind the topic. When you know the keywords behind the topic, right, then you will be able to score grades high. Of course, you parents don't expect your kids to within 1 lesson. It takes time. Like I mentioned, Gen Z parents, Gen Z students, they tend to they catch things very fast, so we need to believe in them. But they are very easily stressed, and when they are stressed, they don't really share out. So as teachers and parents, we also have to take note of their emotional intelligence, emotional quota, where they are at. So I hope this helped your sharing. So for the science part, so I'm going to pass this time back to Teacher Ping. With Teacher Ping, will be going through the mathematics. Yeah, that's for the science. Any questions for the science before we move on? Yeah.
Awesome.
Right. I hope it helps you guys.
So many questions. My son is taking P5. It's in P5 this year. So my daughter just finished her P6. So I have to relearn the ABC again.
Yes, Teacher Ping.
加油, 加油.
Yeah, we can 加油 together.
Yes, you can continue to put your questions into the chat. Yeah, Teacher Chloe will, answer the questions. Okay. Okay, you know him. Thank you very much.
I will do the answering part for the message. Yes. Then Teacher Faith will go through with you all the math. All right. Okay, see you guys in a while.
Chloe. Okay, hi, good evening, everybody. You are doing very well, parents. Good job. You sat through almost like 45 minutes lecture on science. And this is exactly how your children will feel after 1 period of session. And then they have to go on to, another teacher's lesson. So, after a long day of like interchange of class and lessons, your children actually do need to be very, very focused in school. So look out for their sleeping hours and make sure they sleep early and have ample rest for the best focus during the school hours. Okay. So I'm the founder of Blue Tree Education. I've been a math specialist for 22 years, maybe more. Okay. Previously a math setter, a marker. What's that error? That's a marker. Okay. For the PSLE papers. And I believe that being a teacher is not what I am, but it's who I am. Okay. And this is something that I will always bear in mind, that when I'm teaching the children, right, they may forget what you said, but they will never forget what you make them feel. So teaching is a very special job where we touch lives. And that's why I still love what I am doing today. Okay. I have 3 children. Okay. My eldest one is, needs to be updated. My eldest one is 16 this year. And middle child Sarah is 13, and then the youngest one is 11. Okay, so these are some of my kids that we spend a lot of time catching up. Okay, a bit laggy on my side. Okay, so we also use a 3E framework. So that was how Teacher Chloe actually ended the slide, saying that in science they use a 3E framework. And over here for math, we also use the 3E framework in our teaching philosophy. Okay, so for mathematics, we also believe in, transforming these unmotivated learners to motivated learners, it has definitely shown that it helped them to build confidence and instill higher order thinking and give them a firmer foundation. So the 3 E's are actually like to explore. Okay, let me just see if it's coming up. So we actually do activities with the students to, not every lesson per se, okay, for sure. To be fair, yeah, you can't be like measuring things every week. I need to actually devote a lot of times to problem solving. But when we're introducing a new topic, right, we do spend a couple of minutes just to let them explore the formulas and all these things, so that it's easier to explain to them how the formula works. Okay, and therefore that it'll be easier to extend the topic like within beyond the classrooms. Okay, let me just bring you to this AL score system as a quick recap. Okay, parents, we have some P3, P4 parents sitting amongst us. Not very sure, take a photo, just go to your Safari and do a search. It's very easy to find this scoring system. Okay, yeah. And the AL6 is where you will need to actually take a closer look at it, because that mark range is 20 points with definitely a lot of hard work required for this range of mark range students to jump 1 grade to the AL5. All right, so even though it sounds like a 1 grade improvement, actually it is a 20 mark improvement, or maybe a 15 or a 10 mark improvement. So bear that in mind, okay? And then while the rest are about a 5 mark range. So the next one would be, how does the AL system can affect the placements of children into the different streams? Take note of this, they are actually quite strict with it. So if you have an option of between NA and Express, only if the kids score 21 and 22 points. 20 must go Express, 23 must go NA. So 23, you want to ask for Express, cannot. Express 20 points, want to ask for NA, also cannot. So yeah, this is how it works. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to do a very quick analysis of like how you help your kids to soar, to the next mark range, right? Let me just, yeah. Okay, let me see if this one pops up. Okay, it's coming up. So what was your child's score last year? Okay, this only applies because of P3, P4 parents here. This only applies to the P5, P6 grades because of their the nature of the paper. There's a paper 1 before the break time, and then there's a paper 2 after the break time. Paper 1 without a calculator, paper 2 with a calculator. It's a very long paper, so P3, P4 only sit for 1 paper. So if you see, hey, my child scored 75, 80, 89, that is quite different rigor from the upper primary. Okay, you can take a photo of this. So paper 1, right, if you are actually not scoring very well, okay, it would be good that you actually spend more time working on the paper 1, work on the basics. And then for paper 2 drill, okay, I'm looking at the below 50% score range. Drill 10 to 12 questions first. I know you wish to drill all 17 questions, but look at the child's strength, weakness, attention span. Is the child able to actually sit through 17 questions? If you can brush out like the basic to the achievable questions, you can actually help the child retain more memory of what this child had learned. Okay, and the 50 to 74% mark range in the middle. Okay, this is the part where you do not give up your paper 1 practice. Keep practicing a lot of it because you want to score well for the 1 and 2 mark question. And then for the paper 2, you can stretch a bit more, practice up to 12, question 12, and so on. Okay, but for 75% and above, yes, you can practice paper 1 and paper 2, but your focus is different. It's not about turning to the answer key, put ticks on it. It is actually looking at the presentation, okay, the keywords, refining the answering techniques, which we focus a lot in our classroom teaching. PSLE topics are as follows. You take a look at, you can take a photo, okay? Feel free just take screenshots of it as we go through. So by the time it reaches primary 6, right, some of the topics here listed on the right-hand side here, Okay, some are covered in term 1. Some schools are pretty fast. Some schools will finish really by term 1, term 2. Some students have already told me by that now the teacher has decided not to teach algebra and they're going to leave it to the later part. At Blue Tree, I'm not going to take chances, okay? Algebra is something that's going to be very useful in their solving because they understand how the units work and how the presentation works. So it's not a difficult topic to learn. It's only like 5 marks. So it helped them to improve in their presentation skills if they know algebra rules better. And along the way, we practice it like every other week. And by the time it reaches prelim, they're so good at it. I don't even need to deliberately find a time to revise that. Okay. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 main broad categories of how this PSLE topic, what it is made up of. Okay. So as you can see, that speed algebra make up only 4-5%. All right. And then while the rest of it are like in this range. Okay. So I have to use the word like approximate percentage. So there you go. This range will make up about 65%. Okay. We have done the data analysis of how this percentage pans out in the last 3 years. So it's 2022, 21, and 20, right? You can also take a screenshot. I've done the homework for you. My team has done the homework for you. You just need to take a photo of it. It's so easy, right? Yeah, so then you have time to go and analyze it, okay? As you can see, when I total up the whole numbers, measurement, ratio percentage, it all adds up to about 60, 60, 58, round up 60%. It's about 60%. That's a lot. If there are 10 questions, if there are 10 marks, 6 marks is for these topics, you know, right? And then the second thing I want you to take note of is the geometry. Over here, geometry, okay? So you can see that geometry is like 9 marks, 9 marks and 14 marks, okay? So that is 23 marks. If I take 23 on the average, divide by 3 marks, can you see that it's about 7 to 8 questions? Geometry alone, 7 to 8 questions. So it's not something that you can just say, oh, only 15 marks, only 20 marks. Let's see what we can do. No, actually, it's quite an important topic. If you can be good at the properties, recognizing, you can actually score quite well in this component. Okay. Yes. And the next part is there are various maths heuristics. I'm very sure you have seen them, heard of them, and we do cover them very often in our regular lessons, our PPC lessons, our holiday program, because they need so much reinforcement. And where these things come from, they always appear in PSLE. We have been studying the trends of the questions, what like to be tested. Okay, so I would like to actually show you this particular question. Okay, how our children can score well, right? Is that we need to know that, ensure that the children actually know their basics. Okay, so a question like this, you may say that it's 50%, there's a percentage there, it's a percentage question. It all started off in primary 4. They learned the fraction way. That means the question was phrased as, if half of Zul's money is equals to 3/5 of Leroy's money. The question was phrased simply in fraction form. And so model drawing will take place, okay, like how it pans out on the left-hand side. But as they progress to P5, they will solve it using the equal fraction manner by putting numerator the same. Okay, that's first half of the year. Then the second half of the year, they start to learn ratio and percentage. Then this question will still appear again. And then by then, the solving will come back to this mode again. They can make a choice. Do I like the drawing method, which is the model drawing, or the equal fraction method? Okay, which is efficient? It is best efficient if the child knows the strategy well. If you know model drawing well, model drawing is effective for the kid. Fast in execution. But if the kid seldom draw model, don't want to practice model, not good at drawing model, suddenly wants to draw, don't know how to start. Make sense? It may be an easy approach, but if you seldom practice it, you will not be able to execute it efficiently. Then as someone who is always practicing the equal fraction method and had understood the model drawing pans out to be the same numerator. And then that works out to be so-called a shortcut. So it's very important that our children are receptive to learning new methods. It will really help them to, excel and soar and, move on to greater heights. This is the 2022 paper 1 question 15. I modified the question a little bit. Okay, so this question actually appeared in paper 1, which means that it's an MCQ question. All right. And I always get this response from my students. I will ask them, I'm very sure set approach appear, quantity times value appear, equal difference stays the same, confirm is in the papers, equal fraction confirm tested. Then they'll tell me, no, it was not tested. It's hiding in a question like that nobody will realize it. How does it look like, right? So Matthew pushes 2 sticks A and B straight into the ground until the length of each stick that is above the ground is the same. So 1/3 of A and 1/4 of B are in the ground. So it looks like this. Then naturally, it implies that 2/3 of A and 3/4 of B are above the ground. So the above the ground segment confirm must be the same length. That's how I indicated in green over here, right? So that means that the numerator, 6 at the top, must be made the same. And so if you know your basic of the previous question I showed you, then this will make a lot of sense. Do you see this is model drawing, but it's no longer horizontal, but placed vertically. And so that's how the children are being so-called deceived into thinking that particular concept was not tested in the question, but it is tested in the paper. Okay. And so you can see that A is 9 units and B is 8 units, and you can see the difference is 1 U. Connect the information, which is so important. Find the total length of the sticks. 8 and 9 make 17 units. And that's how, oops, a little error. It should be 510 cm. Okay, let's put that back in here. So you can copy the solution in a while. I love this question. I love it when it tests like basic concepts, and yet we think that, it's like not obvious. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you have purchased your PSLE booklet, flip to that page, and then you can get your child to try the other version of it that looks something like this one. Okay. P3, P4 parents, go and buy the book. Since you're already in the webinar with me, that means you are a parent who really know what to look out for. Go and purchase a PSI booklet. It's okay, you don't want to do it. Put in the shelf first. Yeah. 2 years later, you will see. Now I know why Teacher Faith asked me to buy the booklet. Buy what? English, Maths, Science, Chinese, buy all. Very cheap one. Like I think $4 or $4.50 only. Okay. All right. This is the second question from paper 2. Okay. On ratio. So the question appears in this manner. Like you see, the question stem actually, the information given is very short. Okay, 4/7 of his money to buy 6 identical pens, and the rest to buy the pen and the 4 pens and 3 files. And then the question is like, find the fraction that was by 3 files. So ignore that yellow stem, that question stem first. Just rethink about what 6 pens represent, right? It represents 4/7 of his money. And this is what I will usually do. Okay, what I'll tell the children to do. If you draw a model of 4, you will slice it into 24 parts, but there's so many to cut. That's why we need to move up to a fraction mode. Or some students will write 6 pens equals to 24 units. And so you can see that 1 pen is made out of 4 units out of 42. Okay, so since he used the rest of the money to buy 4 pens, then that will pan out to be 16 units of his money, which is 16 over 42. If the child can write keywords like this, I can almost guarantee, right, the kid is very close to AL2, all right, hitting AL1 already, because they're very conscientious in the way they think through their processes and writing keywords. It doesn't slow them down. It speeds up in their checks and cut down careless mistake. I know you're telling your kid, hear that or not? I'm very, very sure. So the rest of the money, right, is 3/7 because 4/7 was spent. So 3/7 must be the remainder, and 18 over 42 is the rest of the money. So 18 units, right, minus the 16 units, then we can see that 2 out of 42 reduce lowest term, 1/21, is the money spent to buy the 3 files. There you go. We have answered part A. So as we are reading, we are writing the information, it actually leads us to understand the whole question. Okay, so we have a part A and part B. So that pans out to be like 2 marks and 2 marks. So for part B, they ask a little bit more about this every 5 files, and then you get 1 free, right? So it actually falls into the category of set approach, always tested. Set approach is constantly tested every PSLE, but you see, it's actually tied in and hiding inside this question that generally look like fall under the FRP category, which I call it the fraction ratio percentage category. Okay, because like 4/7, right? It's like 4:7 or 4:3, which is a remainder. So it's like a ratio technique as well. So 3 files is equals to 1/21. And so if you want to find the price of 1 file, right, then we know that we'll have to take 1/21, okay, divided by 3, which will end up to be 1/63. And this statement alone help you understand that that means I can buy 63 files with, you see the denominator, 63 units. So, my mistake again. 1 set 5, buy 5. There you go. Buy 5 and get 1 free. Buy 5 and get 1 free. Oh, a bit laggy on my side. So I'll take my money, which is 63 units worth, divide by 5, and I will get 12 free because there are like 12 as a whole number. Then the remainder 3 part, you don't get any, right? So how many files will you get in total? Read the statement very carefully. This is the part where the children will start to question. They always raise hand. Teacher, must I add the free file? Must I report only the free or the buy or all? So you have to read very carefully. The sentence is say how many files would Motu buy, need to buy. It said how many files would he get in total if he spent all his money. So the total files will be what he had bought, the 63, and then plus the free one, 12. So total is 75. So parents, when you're worried about PSLE, it's like very hard, very difficult. You look at this question, it's not difficult. It is the child tends to skip read, misread, and then they pick up that wrong information and answer wrongly and easily lost at 2 marks. You know what I mean? Yeah, they will always say something like 2 children left the room, then 2 children left behind in the room. Right? Yeah, so that makes quite a lot of difference how it's interpreted. So we use a lot of soft technique, which is like SOLVE. That's the acronym that we use in our math problem solving. Okay, so what it stands for, right, is actually a process that we bring the children through as we are solving the question together. So we'll teach them to search for the clues, pick up the relevant info. Okay, then after that, we must connect the information. Once we obtain the evidence, we must link them up. So that's like how you say 5 units equals to 20. It is very essential for PSLE marking. Having been a marker for a long time, so I impart all these skills to my teachers. Then my teachers will mark the children's work and inform them and remind them how to score the M1 for exams. Locate the key is to indicate where the 1 unit is. And then to solve the question, you must read the question right. Then you can just, in 2 steps, finish up the entire thing. Okay? So a lot of students, like today, we did some math question and then they end up finding the wrong item. They ask for A, then go and find B. I said, what is the last step of SOLVE? And they go like, read the question again. I said, that's right. Right? Instead of telling you, you're not reading, you're scolding your kid every day. Why not we change the way we question our children and ask them, what do you think? Why do you think you have made a mistake? What could have been done? Then they will be more reflective, right? So how the tic-tac-toe table is used in these various types of questions. Start, change, end, before, change, after, quantity times value, and a lot more. My students in the PPC class, in my regular class, will learn all these techniques. So this is another question for question 17. Okay, as you can see, the information is given, but I have a yellow box there hiding the question, not showing you yet. So Mrs. Lee baked a total of 40 large and small cakes in the ratio of 5:3. So the tic-tac-toe table will look a little bit like this, okay? But of course, on paper, we'll have to draw lines. And then header is large, is small. And then we'll fill in the information, okay? So there are 40 total items in the ratio of 5:3. Okay, this one sentence here, right, is also important because the children tend to misread this part. They thought it is 40 large only and some small. You are right. Some problems are phrased this way. 40 large and some small cakes. Now, this one says 40 large and small cakes. It's English. Really? Yeah. You have to really read carefully and don't skip read. This one we fall into the category of a quantity. All right. So 8 units is 40. And then we are ready to find out what 1 unit is. All right. Let me just put the question in. I forgot. Where is it now? Okay. How many small cakes did Mrs. Lee buy? If they want small, you times 3 units. If they want large, you times 5 units. And there you go. We solve our 1 mark question. Frankly, just by reading the first sentence, I have not even gotten to the second sentence. This is some techniques we actually practice in class that speed up the solving techniques. Okay. And therefore, yeah, this is a statement I want you to take note of. This is in the PSLE 2022 paper. So just go to Popular Bookstore, purchase a book. You can find the question there. Okay. Now, the next question is, how many cherries did Mrs. Lee use for all the small cakes? So I'm going to put down the information here. Since we already know 1 unit is 5, so therefore we know there are 25 large, 15 small. Okay. The number of cherries used for the large and small cakes was in the ratio of 3:2. And this pans out to be, you know, when we say quantity times value, it's like I buy 5 concert tickets times $30 times $300. Yeah. So, but this is not in terms of money. It's in terms of the cherries that goes onto the cake. So that falls into the category of value. Okay. So that's 3:2. And in order to find the total, I have to take quantity times value. There you go. So the 7 large cakes, there you see, she used 204 cherries to decorate. Another keyword sentence, very tricky. Decorate all the small and 7 large. So I need to focus on the 7 large. 7 times 3 units, not 3 cherries, 3 units of cherries. That's 21 units. And then I have to find all the small cakes, which is 15 small cakes times 2 units of cherries. That makes 30 units. Put them together, this 51 units is the 204. This is really the next level of understanding of what quantity value is and connecting them with the actual value of 204. Okay, so that makes 4 sets. How many cherries for the small cake? 4 times 30. And there you go. This question, I will rate it as actually A is a giveaway mark. B and C is like moderately hard already. That means we are really looking at the students. Are they thinkers? Do they really understand what quantity value is? It's the application of the concepts and skills that they have learned, rather than, very hardworking and you do a lot of practice paper but cannot apply. So there is a differentiation between the AR1, 2 with the rest. Okay. Total remaining large cakes. Okay, as you can see just now, there were 7 large cakes, right? So 40 of them, minus the 15, minus the 7, and then we know there are 18 large cakes. So how many more cherries did Mrs. Lee need for the remaining large cakes? We know there were 4 sets, right? So don't forget to take 18 times 3. And then with that, right, we must multiply the 4 sets, because we know that the 204 cherries is like 4 big groupings of this whole setup. Okay, this entire table represents only 1 set, but there are 4 sets of such tables. Quantity times value is a tested concept every year. I guarantee it's every year. So in our programs, we actually put various types of questions together for the children to practice. Answer 216. Okay, so this will be the last question of the night. Quite difficult, right? How do you feel? Are you coping okay? Okay, so I'm just going to show some tips on like what can you do with your child to help them to, to score better. Yeah, so there are a lot of little nitty-gritty details like this. So like 5p times 2p, this is my handwriting, my marking for my children's students' work. So 5p times 2p, if the child write 10p, right, forgetting the square is not a careless mistake. Do you understand? All right, so M1 for 5p times 2p, 0 marks for wrong final answer. Yeah, because the child didn't understand p times p is p squared. So it's not a careless mistake. I know parents will say, hey, yeah, you're so careless, you forget to put this, you forget to put that. It's not noted as careless. It's like you do not know it has to be done this way. So writing keywords are very important because at each juncture, each stage, right, the child is very clear and the eyes goes back to the diagram and check where half times space and height, length times breadth, or whatever it is. And when you're very conscientious of your presentation, you use your formula. Can you see I put a question mark? Where's the formula? You write triangle B is 24. Then where's the formula? Then if you make a mistake, right, you're not very sure what 24 is. Was it the length, the breadth, the area? Right? So sometimes if answers don't make sense, answer correct, statement don't make sense, it's still 0 for both. Highlighting your work according to the need of the question is good. You cannot highlight your working, but you can highlight the question. Okay, so if you can't do highlighting, then maybe some coloring techniques or tick or cross or something like that. But you have got to teach your child to do it very, very neatly. Okay, at Blue Tree, what is happening? We have various types of programs, okay, to help parents, children, to come on board with us in this whole learning journey. It's really our one-stop suite. Isn't that sweet? Pun intended. Yeah, regular tuition classes with the PSLE prep course. We have the holiday program coming up in March. Okay, you don't think I'll just finish Chinese New Year, you want to relax. No. March. Okay. And then we have a lot of parents webinar, like today, this is the first one. And then we have more coming up, another one tomorrow. So look out, join our Facebook group, join our social media so that you can be updated on like all the current events that will be happening up. Free learning resources that will be posted on our websites and sometimes in our emailer. So join our emailing so that you can download the latest cheat sheets, learning sheets, and all the notes. Okay. And definitely we will have the short courses, the PSLE master classes that will help with the revision, whereas it's getting closer to the exams. Okay. Yeah. And when it's like nearing to the exams, right, the children will feel a little bit more higher urgency to want to actually attend these classes and to, especially the short courses, the PSLE master class. And the questions there is like very intense, very difficult, but for PSLE level type of questions. So you can see the children get more and more serious. Yeah. So at the end of it, right now, I do hear a lot of parents commenting things like, my child not ready lah, so relax every day. So what do you do? What can we do, right? As parents, and as I'm also a parent, right? As teachers, build that consistency. Consistency is really the key to success in a lot of things that you do, right? The technique, the way he presents the problem sums will start to improve. Tremendous improvement. But if you don't scan your work to us, then of course I cannot see. Then I cannot comment on how to improve. Okay, so that's why we do pay a lot of attention and special attention to this PPC group. Okay. Yeah, we also give attention to all our regular students as well. Okay, so this is the next webinar for next week, PSLE 2022 paper walkthrough with teacher Sherlyn. And yeah, I'll be there. And then on Wednesday will be teacher Sherlyn. On Thursday, science. Is it teacher Chloe?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, is it teacher Chloe doing the PSLE walkthrough?
Will be our beautiful teacher Jolene and teacher Christina.
Oh, teacher Christina and teacher Jolene. Okay, I think it's teacher Christina.
Yes.
No. It's me with Christina.
Oh, the two of you. Okay, okay. So yes, I'll be with Teacher Sherlyn, but let's have Teacher Sherlyn show her kung fu to you guys.
Yeah, I think Teacher one of the parents love your slide on the percentage-wise study plan. So requested you to show a little bit so that they can take a photo. I think you have
Sure.
a percentage or something
Wow,
like
parents,
that.
you're so awesome. We have overrun and you're still with us.
Yes, yes, we are showing, not to worry.
I
The slide with
love you
marks.
as much as you love
Is
us.
it
Thank you.
this? Is this right? Yeah.
Yeah. So of course, you know, this is based on my observation of my students learning their mark range. But of course, there will always be outliers, you know, that a child is scoring 75 marks. And here I already said the paper one is like about 36 marks. But I ever spoke to parents who said 75 marks, my child actually scored 42 out of 45. Then in my mind will be, wow, then paper two must be very, very bad. Like a lot of hard work that we need to work on it, like score only 30 marks, you know, for paper two. Yeah. So there are outliers as well. But in general, a bigger group falls into this range whereby if you are 75 marks, paper one below 40, and then paper two also not like, you know, very, very strong. So yeah, take note of yeah, okay. So this is based on my personal experience with my group of students. Okay. Okay, any more questions? Have you all gotten down the information about where to sign out our PPC course? I'm sure the link has been added and we have to input the PPC code, PPC 2023.
Yeah, so parent asking some question purely online. Yes, PPC online. If you like physical lesson, still joining our regular lesson with the various teacher. So physical class, that would be our regular lesson or our MAP, which is the upcoming March Friday program. Yeah, for science, it will be based on different topics. For mathematics as well. Yeah, if you're looking for physical, like really depend on your child learning style as well. Because I know some children will switch off the screen. So we really think physical is much better. I mean, to consider. Of course, moving on. So if parents request PPC physical, okay, maybe our bosses will consider it in future.
What about?
They are requesting PPC physical. I said not now.
Oh,
Maybe
no. We have worked with the students. This group of students are super driven. When they are online, they give us the 100% attention. They don't even need to be physically here. This is they are so focused. I have a child who comes for my physical class, my regular class. I just saw him this afternoon, you know, 5, and that's a 2-hour class. Yeah, he tries his best, but on the PPC Zoom online, I thought he might just, you know, a bit tired. He gave me 102%. Yeah, he gave me all. He gave me his best attention for that 1-hour class. Yeah, you got to trust us. Why we actually plan out a 1-hour class and not a 2-hour online and not 1.5 hour. That 1 hour is a beautiful sweet spot. Yeah, it really works.
And the time for PPC is on 7:30, right?
7 to 8 p.m.
7 to 8 p.m. Yeah.
Because sometimes I overrun.
And Thursday for math.
Yes.
Both 7 to 8 p.m.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes we overrun a little bit, then we end at about 8:15, and so, you know, but we try not to overrun too much because the children needs an early rest and catch up with their homework as well. Yeah, but yes, thank you for sharing. So if you want to check out our regular class, want to find out more, please get in touch with us in contact. Okay.
Right.
Blue 3.
Thank you for tuning in and staying up with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, if you like what you have seen today, okay, join us again tomorrow.
Yeah, PPC for children 75 marks and above. Yeah.
75 marks and above.
Yeah,
But if it's 75 marks and below, you know, if it's below 75 marks and you really wish to try out the program, write into us, let us speak to you and let us hear about your child's learning style. And, you know, we try our best to support. So let us hear your story and we'll take off from, we'll you know, find out more as we speak.
Yeah. Thank you. Good night. Is there a certificate? Can I attend our graduation?
Hey, Ivy, good job. Yeah. Good idea. Certificate.
And we have a graduation for P6 party. So last year, this year.
So we give a certificate for all our students who are Blue Tree students.
Yeah. Signed by our founder.
Yeah. Blue Tree students get a lot of perks. If they sign up holiday, if they become Blue Tree students, then they sign up our holiday program, the MAP. They get special discount, okay? Only if you join us, then you know the price. Special discount. And if you want to book our holiday program, can you please go to the website soon? The classes are snapped up really quickly. Classes are full already. If it's full, I really cannot slot you in anymore. I'm so sorry. You really got to pick other teachers' slot, okay? Yeah, because they were very fast in snapping up those slots. Work for them is a popular time. So check out our website. You can find a lot of information there. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Teacher Chloe, for the time this evening. I know you are tired. Go home, have a good rest, have your dinner. Okay.
Thank you, Teacher Faith, too. Yeah, you have a long day. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. We'll see you around. All right, for more information, you can just email us. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.